Hello everybody, we're back streaming live for the Ride for Larry. And I had talked about coming back and riding with Coco Cadence, but looking at it, there's 3 more hours to go. And there is one badge that I would like to get. I definitely can do it in the 3 hours. So I could go do this badge and then finish up with Coco Cadence because that would be easier than the badge I'm going to get. But so I'm going to head over to London again. Yes, London, Box Hill. And guess what? I'm actually going to do Box Hill again. But I only have to do it once in order to get this route. So I'm going to jump over to the routes. And what I'm looking for is the full London, not the greater. Let's see. Where is that one? Let me jump over to my Zwift hub and make sure which one I'm looking for. It's the Greater London Loop. So let's come back, pick the Greater London Loop, which says is 21 kilometers. But on Zwift hub, it is 21 kilometers. So 21 kilometers is squat today. So I think I'm going to do the Greater London Loop and get that badge. Now, I have this fear that maybe I already have that badge, I just don't realize it. So we're going to jump into Zwift to do that ride. So let's do that now. And then once we get in, I'm going to show you where you can see the routes that you've done on Zwift. So we click, brings up the menu. Here comes the menu. And I can jump over to badges. And here are the badges. So these are my achievements. What I'm looking for are this one. I don't know if I'll ever get that one. You have to climb Alpe d'Huez a total of 25 times. Thankfully, you don't have to do it all at once. It's just once you've done it 25 times, you get that. So I don't know if I'm ever going to try for that one. I just let it come to me when it does. So let's see. Greater London Loop. Where is that one? I did. Oh, nope, there's the Greater London Loop. I have not done the Greater London Loop. So awesome. It's a 21 kilometer ride. So that's awesome. And that gives me something to target, to aim for. Because I think earlier when I was doing that recovery ride on the flats, not having a target, not having something to try to complete was, it was hard to stay motivated. So with this, I'm able to come in, have a goal, and even if it's harder, it's going to be good. There's a ride on from Jason Zacher, a fellow Greenvillian. Thank you for that ride on, Jason, though I doubt you're watching YouTube. Again, some of these ride-ons, I do this too. When you open your companion app, it will show you people that you are connected with on Zwift, whether or not they are out on the course. So you can push a button and it gives them a ride on. So Jason follows me, I follow Jason, so I guess when he logs in, sees me, he gives me a ride on. When I log on, see him, I give him a ride on. Sometimes we end up riding together. And then there are some names I don't recognize, and those are typically people who are dropping me a ride-on because they're around me. So when you go by people, you can drop them a ride-on as well. Oh, Hannah Truesdell. Hello, Hannah. How's the little kiddo? Is Marty there? Marty! He's probably out patrolling or something. Earning another award. Okay, Hannah is the wife of Marty Truesdell, who was a graduate assistant in my office years ago. And he's gone out. He's deputy. I guess now, what is he? Is he a detective, Hannah? Anyway, he is made a name for himself there in his area, which I'm not going to name. So we're proud of Marty. He keeps winning awards for busting all the crooks. So we're very proud of him. Oh, cool. Yeah, he is a detective. Awesome. I think he's also done some spokesperson work for... Oh, there's Tim. Oh, Tim. You didn't have to come to London. I didn't wish that on you. I would have caught up with you at some point over there in the Flatlands. Okay, so Marty is a burglar detective. Oh, I bet he enjoys that. Awesome. Though I do have to say, Hannah, I follow you on my Apple Watch on the activity stuff, and I haven't noticed a lot of activity from you and Marty recently. Maybe you've moved to Samsung watches or something. Gonna have to keep an eye on you all. Tell Marty I said hello. Oh, there's one thing I have not mentioned. Have you looked at the funds raised recently? We are at $3,655. That is getting close to doubling my original amount of $2,000. So, wow, I am stoked and very thankful where we are. And we've got 3 more hours. Let's see. We could do that. We could actually hit $4,000. Let's see, Hannah Truesdell. I'm watch free because Ellie tries to text everyone. But Marty wears his. He says hello. Awesome. Tell Marty to get his activity rings closed. He's got to be able to chase down those burglars. Got to be fit. So we're $45 away from $3,700. So we're $345 away from $4,000. You know, I'm thankful if it ends right here. You all have exceeded my expectations. So hey, why not dream of hitting 4,000? I'm starting to think it's definitely possible in the next 3 hours. So what we're doing here is the Greater London Loop, which is basically just the primary wider loop around London. Oh, there's Seamus Sullivan. Seamus Sullivan from Ireland. Good to see you, sir. Thanks for coming back in. Yeah, if you ever wanted to see me stream, today was the day, because we're doing hours upon hours of live streaming and still have about 3 hours of live streaming to go. So, this is the place. Okay, I'm thinking I've got to give Tim Granger another shout out, because he's just sitting there letting me stick to his wheel, helping me to move along at about 36 kilometers per hour at 190 watts. So thank you, Tim. I'm not talking about you too much, but I see you're there, and it means a lot. Okay, when you take a break from YouTube, were you still on the Bike Outdoors or Zwifting? Okay, I understand what you're saying. Okay, let me back up. Okay, how far have I gone? Let me answer Mac's question, then I'll go back. First of all, Max, it's not the distance that I'm focused on today. It's the time. How much time am I spending? And right now, I am, I think, in the 7th hour. No, I think I'm in the 8th hour of the 12-hour ride that I have planned. So I haven't been paying that much attention to the distance. But if I remember correctly, well, here, let me go to Strava. Because Strava has a record of what I've done so far. So let's see here, Okay. The last hour, I did 21.69 miles. So let's just say 22 hours. Or 22 miles. Then I did 108 miles. So that means we're looking at 130 miles. And then I did 16 miles. So 146 miles is how far I've ridden today in the hours that I've been riding. So that is good. Checking my text while I'm here on the phone. Isn't that the way it goes? Pick up your phone to learn something, and you end up getting sucked in. So I'm going to put the phone down and get back to you all. Yes, this is a long ride, and yes, my butt is feeling it. So yeah, that is the right description of this ride. So back to Shane's question. I was on Zwift very early from the Jarvis days, and I discovered screen capture. Like, I could, on my Mac, capture the screen while I was riding. Then I would sit down and I would go through and I would edit the screen capture in iMovie. So I started doing Zwift YouTube videos back in that day, and frankly, there were very, very few of us doing it. And at that time, I was also doing a blog, and I was making probably around $500 a month in AdSense money through that. So I said, hey, $500 a month, I can buy some equipment for that. So I'm going to keep doing these videos. But then a couple of things happened. More people started doing it. And some of those people actually decided to make YouTube a greater part of their livelihood. So in other words, they were willing to invest a lot of time into making really good YouTube videos. And that started to cut in. If I was going to keep up with them to match their level, I was going to have to do the same thing. And quite frankly, it was enough time riding the bike to go and then edit the YouTube videos. Just took even more time. So that started to build a lot of guilt because other things were beginning to slide. I wasn't doing as well as I could in other areas of my life. And around that same time, YouTube changed their rules and they said, oh, we're not going to pay you anything unless you have a certain number of followers and a certain number of watch hours. Well, I actually had pretty good watch hours, but I didn't have the subscribers. They want you to have at least 1,000 subscribers. And I think I, for many years, was right around 500 and something. So just simply became an issue that I wasn't able to keep doing it at a level that I would be satisfied with. So what I did, and this answers your question, Shane, I started going out on the road and doing more videos on the road with the GoPro. So what I would do is I would take my GoPro and take Strava segments. If you go to YouTube, you can actually see these videos. I would find some of the popular Strava segments in my area, and I would do YouTube videos of just the segments. So I would go out for a ride, and then I would hit the segment, video it, and then I was posting those with overlays of the power, time. So not only did you get to see the Strava course, Strava segment, as it looks from the bike, you're also able to see the wattage I was putting out and other things about, the grade, those types of things. I would tell the story about the Strava segment, who was the current holder and my own history with that Strava segment. So I thought, this is kind of cool. Yeah, it's very limited because it's only germane to people in my local area, but I enjoyed doing it. It didn't take long. So I was able to very quickly churn out those videos. None of those were very popular. So at some point, I just stopped doing YouTube entirely. So that brings us to now. And I knew I wanted to do this ride. So let's see here, before I go into that. I don't know if you have been doing it, but calls to action are really important. Just a quick bit near the beginning asking people to sub. If they enjoy the vid, can have dramatic impacts on subs. I know, and I agree with that. I don't know if I'm committed at this point to building a channel. So I hesitate to do that at this stage, but I am leaning toward that. Um, yeah, Shane, that was about the time. Yeah, and see, you understand, you started a family and you haven't done as much cycling as you did. But that is where Zwift is really helping me, because I've been on Zwift more than out on the road. It's not that I don't like riding on the road. I plan to ride more on the road. But if I go to work, I get off. Thankfully, I only live a mile away from home, so it's very easy for me to get off and get home. So my wife will go, for instance, Tuesdays and Thursdays, she has aerobics right as I'm getting off of work. So while she's off doing aerobics, I jump on Zwift really fast, knock out an hour, get a workout in. When she comes back, the family, those of us who are all here, with a boy in high school and one in college, sometimes we're not all together, but as a family, we try to eat together at dinner. And so we're able to all to come together for dinner and have dinner, and then I have the rest of my evening. That's changed from back when I was riding on the road, because when you're riding on the road, a lot of that has to do with the cycling community that you're in. So you typically are wanting to ride with a group. And those rides can go 2 hours, then everybody hangs around and talks. Your time investment grows. And those were great days. I loved them, enjoyed those days. But at this stage of my life, I just can't commit to the cycling community like that. So coming in here and doing Zwift is very helpful. So what are my plans from here? I've discovered live streaming. And live streaming allows me to do what I was doing, but without the editing that was taking so much time. And I can make my stream look relatively professional, thanks to people like Shane Miller and those guys. I'm able to make my channel look more professional. And I think I've found a niche that I can speak to. And I call it Getting Zwifty After 50. When I am riding on Zwift, there are two things that I find very interesting. Number one, and both of these are good things, there are a lot of women on Zwift. And I think that's one of the things that really helps with the community aspect of Zwift, because naturally women add to that. So I am very excited to have ladies involved in Zwift. Also very excited to have ladies involved in my charity work, because I mean, you want to get something done, they're the ones who are going to get it done and are committed to it. So I think that's a good thing for Zwift, but that isn't my target audience. Another thing I've noticed on Zwift is how many people over 50 are participating on Zwift. Some of them are doggone good and kick my butt over and over again. They are in shape. And then there's some who are just jumping on for the first time as a way of trying to find some fitness. And then there's a group that I would say are kind of like me. They want to improve, but they don't have the time to invest. They've probably been racers in the past, but they're just kind of in that midlife crisis of, what do I do? How do I handle this? I think that's who I'm going to be speaking to in my Getting Zwifty After 50. So it'll focus more on Zwift, But I think once the weather turns, there will be some things going on outside. Some live stuff as well as recorded stuff. Not as much recorded, but yeah, I may see if I'll give this another try, since streaming live speaks to the answer to my primary argument against being on YouTube. Long answer to a very good question. So I'm going to look back here. I know I missed some of the chats. First of all, thank you to my sister Suzanne for the applause there. Yeah, Larry, we talked about this. Getting those subs are hard, but I mean, for instance, to do the Ride for Larry, I said to my wife, hey, could you talk to your friends, tell them what I'm doing on live? I do it for Larry, and tell them I need to get 1,000 subscriptions, because at that point, I thought that YouTube was going to require me to have 1,000 in order to stream the amount that I was planning on doing. So she did, and I mean, I picked up like 40 subscriptions. Now I'm like, I think 614 subscriptions. So it's not impossible, but I would be doing it not for money so much as I enjoy it. I enjoy sharing what I'm doing, especially if I can squeeze in information and encouragement to participate in I Do It For, which would obviously be the quote-unquote sponsor of my videos. Yeah, that would be, it's more of a marketing tool than a money-making tool. But sure, I'd love to get back to 1,000 subscribers, because I still have videos, which I know in the scheme of things are not a lot, but I got a number of videos with over 100,000 views. Some of my most popular ones aren't even about the bike. I think one of the most watched currently is a little system I made for hauling 2 bicycles in the back of my Honda Fit. And the Honda Fit isn't even made anymore, but that video still gets a good number of views. So if I were to get 1,000, then I wouldn't turn my nose up at any ad revenue that I might get from it. But I don't think I would make that a goal. Okay, we're kind of stuck here at $3,655. See what we can do to up that a little bit. I actually feel bad asking, because I came into this excited if I could hit $2,500. So that's been blown out of the water. So I have to say thank you. I know I said I have to climb Box Hill once. But to be honest with you, now that I'm on Box Hill, I'm starting to wish I wasn't. Water and coffee. Hopefully the caffeine will get me up the hill, or over the hill, one of the two. Yeah, you don't need my videos, Tim. You're already Zwifty over 50. Maybe you should join me on some of them. Like you've been joining me on this one. Thank you for pulling me there to the bottom of this climb. Of course, you dropped me once we got on it. But I don't blame you. I'm just back here spinning away. Whew. Give my rear end a break. Sorry for being right up on you here, but my room is kind of narrow, and the way it's set up, I have to put my bike across the room, not in the lengthways. So I have very little room to work with. That's been kind of the challenge. Are you whining or are you winning, Tim? I think I'm the one whining. I was thinking, Tim, I should use your comment as a review on my website or on my YouTube channel. Do you want to be Zwifty after 50? This is what Tim Granger says. Sorry, Tim. It's very hard for me to stay away from math, even though I hate math. But, like I said, I think in the beginning of all of this, I love collecting data. And I know you do too. So, don't be talking about hating math. Yes, I did say I think originally there would not be any climbing. But that all went out of the window when I decided to start getting badges. And now, hey, we're on our way to getting my second badge of the day. Not too far to go. About 6, 7 kilometers. So once we get up to the top of Box Hill, we get to have fun pretty much to the end. Then now I'll wrap up this video because this video will be called the Greater London Loop. Then I'll come back for another flat video. Maybe go after Coco at that point. Oh boy. This climbing is affecting me a little bit. Gatorade and coffee, what a combination. Oh, this is going to be slow. My 30-day PR is 9:56, and I'm at 10:34. Riding for Larry, riding for Larry. I'll make it to the top of Fox Hill for Larry. Just keep pushing. Keep turning the pedals over. We'll get there. Hey, we got another gift. We're now up to 36.75. So I'll be updating that once we finish this particular ride. Ooh, 13:32. Ouch. That's okay. I'm not racing. I'm just surviving. So let's keep it up. Just a little over 30 seconds to go before the banner. Lead me out, Tim. Tim, I am not going to be pedaling down the other side. I stand up and stretch my legs a little bit. Recover a bit. Oh.
You doing okay? Let me ask Dad. You doing okay with me?
I'm doing all right. I think I'm fine right now. Oh, cool. Hello, Emma.
Dad says hello.
Just trying to get to the top of this hill and then start coasting down the other side. I probably need some more water.
We can only work. Where is that water bottle that was scratched?
I think I threw it down there.
I'll get it. Just throwing stuff around the room and I'm picking up.
And I really appreciate it.
He stops a little bit. But
course, this is the downside to only doing 30 minutes or an hour a day. Because when it comes time to doing something like this, it's suffering. Whew. I'm a little bit embarrassed to say how I actually feel at this moment. Okay. Keep going downhill. I'm going to step off the bike for this downhill just to stretch my legs. Let my avatar do all the work. And I think we end up heading for the final banner of the route. And we'll be done with this particular one. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Grab my Gatorade and sit down for a second. Stretch my legs.
Where's the roller? Oh, yeah. Yes.
Okay, we've reached the bottom of the hill. So, we're going to get back on here and keep going. What is that? Oh, that's the seat. I was like, what is that? Ah. Ah. Oh. Yes, my legs are sore, but that is not, the most sore that I have. There's another part of me that is a little more sore. Thankfully, I've been doing this for so long. I'm kind of like leather back there where the seats connect to me. So I have no fear that I'm going to end up with saddle sores. But doesn't mean that it feels any better back there. Oh, whoa. Okay. We just hit 37.75. So that was a big jump there. So now I'm more excited than ever to wrap up this ride so I can take a break before my next segment and update the fundraising goal. So we are currently showing 3,655. When we come back for the next segment, we'll be starting off with 3,775. So that is awesome. The only sad thing is I've got to climb this. It's going to make a racket on my bicycle. So here, let's do this. Go up in the big ring. Then we won't hear that clunking. Oh, take it back. We had one clunk, but not as much. There we go. Oh, whoa. Ha! That's making me feel funny. One thing I've noticed doing the live stream, I don't know why I haven't really paid attention to it before, but I'm pleased to see how my heart rate drops. So I can put up an effort. I think I was watching one where I went up to 174 on an effort, and then before I knew, I was watching, like every half second, the heart rate was dropping down to like what it is right now, 122. So it's like 50 beats per minute drop in just a few, like 30 seconds or so. So I'm very thankful that it appears I at least have a pretty decent, healthy heart, because it isn't how high you can get. It really is how quickly can you drop your heart rate after you've raised your heart rate. So if you want to see your fitness level, that's one of the things you can do, is do an effort, bring it up to like 130 something beats per minute, at least that's for me, and then stop, count 30 seconds, and then 60 seconds. See how your heart rate has dropped. I think for my age, they say if you had a drop of 44 beats per minute in that time frame, then you can be happy with your heart health. So it's one thing I'm thankful for. My dad passed away of a heart attack. Of course, he had a congenital heart defect, bicuspid valve, and that obviously played a role in that. And a couple of my sisters also have bicuspid valves, but I've been spared from having that. I know that I don't have a bicuspid valve because my mom and my sisters badgered me until I went and got tested to see if I had one. So I was very, I'm going to take a picture of this because I think I just hit it. Yes, route complete. Greater London Loop. Ta-da! We are done. So I think what I'll do is, we're about 13 minutes away from the hour on Zwift. So I'm just going to keep spinning along here in London, unless that takes me to Box Hill, because if I get to Box Hill, I am not going up it. I don't care where I am. But we'll wrap up this hour, put it in the can, as they say, and then we'll jump over back to Watopia and hit some flats. I think by that time we should be looking at just around 2 more hours. Yeah, it's about 5 o'clock, so that means 2 more hours until 7 p.m. We're getting there. Keep pushing along. Man, I can't believe there's only 2 hours left. I thought this day was going to take forever and feel like forever. But let me tell you, the difference was all of you guys coming in and chatting with me, and Jeff and Eric and Tim jumping on and riding with me. That made the huge difference. Hey, Beth McCaskill. Beth is, let's see now, Beth, you know you're on Swift. Am I making the right connection here? There are so many McCaskills. I was wondering if this is of the Michael T. McCaskill clan. Let me jump over and see something here on my iPad. Just curious. Okay. Well, there you go. You did it from your phone. That's what it was. Thanks so much for the ride on and confirming you are the Beth McCaskill of the McCaskill clan. I don't know if you've been watching any today, Beth, but I've been mentioning that this is the idoit4.org/Larry M ride, but all of these rides are my ride for Mike. And I even keep slipping up, and I keep calling this one Ride for Mike when it's raising money for Larry. But that's because all of these, anything done with the I Do It For Foundation, is really being done in memory of Mike. Whereas the clan would say Michael T. So I'm very thankful for all that you guys have done to help make the foundation a success and your friendship. It's one of the good things that in my life has come out of my relationship with Michael T. So appreciate that a lot. Hey, Tim was waiting for me. Hey, Tim. I don't know if you heard me say, Tim, that I'm just going to hang out and finish off the hour here in London before I jump over. And this time I'm going to jump over and I'm going to choose Tempus Fugit as the course I'm going to be on. So I don't have to worry about making mistakes, turning to the wrong direction. Plus, Tim, you're making me feel bad. Seems like you've been on riding for just as long as I have. I'm the one that's supposed to be suffering for 12 hours. And there you are, just swinging along. Oh, Beth, believe me, we have done and are doing it together, so it's not me. It's the crew, the Michael T. crew. And here's hoping to it only getting better. Oh man, it's a little 5% grade. My legs are going, what are you doing? 6 more minutes. That's the downside of being on Zwift live streaming is I definitely could be incorrect on this, but I think that because I've been on Zwift for so long, and I did race on Zwift early on and still get on there and for short periods of time turn out a good amount of wattage. People think I'm, this really strong, incredible rider. Well, I think that has been exposed from these live streams because I am hurting right now. It isn't really so much that I hurt, though there is a little bit of pain. It's just, if you were asking me to do a sprint right now, I'd probably fall off the bike. I can sit here and keep spinning, but I can't produce a lot of power at the moment. So opposed to someone, say, like a Scotty Weiss, a Nathan Guerrera, and then like Casey Schum, who's on my team. I mean, whoa. Now those guys are good. And they can put out power for I don't know how long. There's some guys like, you don't hear about him very much, but Kevin Wells, Kim Little, I don't see him very much anymore on Zwift. I just occasionally. Of course, he's in another country, so we probably don't ride at the same time. But then Francis Copé, extremely strong rider. H. Becker, incredible rider. I mean, these are guys that when pros come onto Zwift, they're having to give it everything to stay with those guys. Those are some strong riders, and one of the cool things about Zwift is you're able to know those people, hang out with them, and they, especially those guys, they don't have huge egos. They would take time to help other riders that aren't as strong as they are. And I've really appreciated them. And I think those are the kind of guys that are the backbone of the community, of the Zwift community. So I give them kudos on Strava and ride-ons here on Zwift. All right, so we've got 2 more minutes before I wrap things up here in London and head over to Watopia. We'll do a little bit of hanging out with Coco Cadence, see how we're able to stay with her. I did a video about Coco Cadence because she's one of the hard ones to stay with. I'd never done the D diesel because it's just under the wattage I typically would do. But I think he also is as hard to keep up with as Coco. But I explained a little bit of why I thought Coco was hard to hang with. So we'll go there, give it a try, see if we can hang out with her and the rest of the blob. Hopefully move along at a nice, fast pace. So let's get ready to wrap this up. 30 more seconds to go. Take a short break just to get the numbers updated. Stretch my legs. And then we'll be right back to start the next session with Coco Cadence. So 50, 51, 52, 53.